my name is Ebony Mbatani, and I am a homeschooling mom. We have recently chosen to return to homeschooling. We were homeschool family previously, and due to the pandemic, we decided to take the leap and return back to homeschooling. So I'm somewhat of a veteran homeschool mom, as I've had previous experience. We have chosen to use Classical Conversations as our homeschooling curriculum of choice. And today I wanted to give you some insight from children who actually are doing the homeschooling curriculum, and then I'll go into a little bit more detail about what homeschooling is like for myself and my family. So in the interim, let's get started, and welcome to Homeschooling with the Mbatani family. All right, so we're going to start with my son Henry. He is 12. He recently just completed 5th grade, and he would technically be going into 6th grade. And he's going to give you a little bit of insight of what homeschooling means to him and how he feels about homeschooling.
Okay, so homeschooling, you know how like some kids are shy when going to school, maybe making a new friend or seeing the teacher. But with homeschooling, you're technically with your parents. Yes. So that makes you more comfortable. It makes it easier for you, and since they know you, it'll be easier for them to help you with the problem you might have.
So you feel like having a parent, it helps them, they understand your needs, so they can help you a little bit more?
They understand you better.
Good, excellent. Okay, now we have Camille. She is 7 years old. She just finished 1st grade, so she would technically be going into 2nd. Camille, what does homeschooling mean to you?
So if kids can't go to real school, they can always go to homeschool. And even though they can't see their friends, they can always go to Zoom and talk to their friends.
And then with our curriculum, one of the reasons we chose Classical Conversation is because, as you can see, friends are important to our Camille as well as my other 2 children. And with Classical Conversations, it comes with a social group as well, so you're able to meet those social needs as well. And I'll go into a little bit more detail about that once we complete this. So let's move on to, last but not least, Corinna. She just turned 10, and she just completed 3rd grade, so she would technically be going into 4th. Corinna, what does homeschooling mean to you?
Homeschooling means, since I have dyslexia, it means since I'm with my mom, it helps me a lot, because some of my teachers don't understand that a lot. And it also means the time goes slower for homeschooling, and in real school we have to stick on the schedule, so it goes a little faster.
Okay, so you like that we're able to go at your own pace to help you with your dyslexia.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay, I love it. Thank you so much, guys. That is some great insight from children who are currently doing homeschooling and how they feel about it. And now I'm going to talk to you in more detail about Classical Conversations and how homeschooling impacts our family directly. Our family chose Classical Conversations not only because I really like the concept of the curriculum, but also because my children are now older than they were when we previously homeschooled, and the social aspect is very important to them. So I wanted to make sure that we're meeting both sides of their needs, not just academically, but also emotionally and spiritually. So now I'm going to segue into how do you figure all that out, and what does homeschooling look like for a typical family? Well, I'm going to preface it with this. There is no typical or common way of homeschooling. It really depends on what works for your family and what your children's academic and emotional needs are. That's one thing I really figured out the first time that I homeschooled. When we homeschooled previously, my children were much younger. I was, of course, completely inexperienced. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. So I picked a curriculum that was very much traditional and very much kind of like school outside of school, because I wanted to make sure I wasn't missing any gaps. I think a lot of moms fear that, oh, if I homeschool, are there going to be things that I missed that they should be learning? And there are a lot of homeschool moms that will tell you that there's no magic way to make sure that you're encompassing everything. But there's also, I feel like there's different types of curriculum that you can use to make yourself feel better. There's accredited programs, there's programs where you can be as free and flexible as you want to be, and there's programs where you can be as stringent and structured as you want to be, as if you're in online college courses. When we first started, that's what we did, because I needed a lot of structure and I needed a lot of guidance, and I basically wanted the curriculum to tell me what to do. Now that I feel a little bit more comfortable with classical conversations, I really enjoy the structure, and I like that it gives me all the foundational pieces that a child needs to grow and learn, but it gives us the flexibility to go at their own pace and to figure things out. I have 3 children that all learn 3 different ways, so that can be a lot to juggle. So we had to find a system that was going to be flexible but yet give us some structure and allow me to speed ahead or slow down depending on which child had that need at that time. A couple of things that I would also mention when it comes to homeschooling is, you know, it's okay to be nervous about it. It's okay to have it not all figured out. Don't try to reinvent school at home. That's not the whole purpose of homeschooling. The first time I did it, I turned our office or our library into a full-blown classroom. I'm talking with like the posters and, you know, all the little decor and everything. This time around, and I will show you right after I'm done with this, it's just my dining room table with 3 laptops set up, and then they have their notebooks. So it's a little bit more of just like an office setting. We read anywhere around the house, anywhere they can find a space. I give them that, you know, luxury. And then we have a system that works for us, meaning we're more of an afternoon, evening learners than we are morning learners, because let's face it, none of us are morning risers. We're not morning people. So that's what works for us. You have to find a system that works for you. It's good to bounce ideas off of other moms, but it's also good to understand what it is that your child's needs are. What are the areas that you want to improve for your child, both academically and socially? So I'm going to give you 5 tips on what could help you with homeschooling. Number 1 is figure out what your child's needs are, both academically and emotionally, and that will help you figure out which curriculum to pick. Number 2 is pick 3 different curriculums, and I would compare them side by side and talk to at least one person that is using that curriculum and ask them all the questions that you may have to help you figure out what your child's needs are, and then that's going to work for you and your family. Number 3 would be talk to your child. Ask them, what are their favorite subjects? What are their least favorite subjects? What are things that they feel that they really struggle with? And then observe, once you start doing some of those things, and maybe have them do a math sheet or a spelling sheet or a reading sheet, and observe some things that they have about them that you are seeing that you can help improve or you can help strengthen. Number 4 would be, you have to block out the naysayers. The first time I homeschooled, I received a lot of backlash. I did not have a lot of support from family or friends, but I knew it was something that was right for my children because my child was struggling, and I did not want his spirit to be broken. I always say I'm a reluctant homeschooling mom. It's not something I ever wanted to do or thought I was going to do, but it's what was needed for my child and his development. And as mothers, I think all of us will do anything that is necessary for our child to reach their greatest potential. So here I am in the homeschooling realm talking to all of you about homeschooling, even though I never imagined this is where we would be, but this is where we are, and we are very happy about it. It's working for us, and it's been an amazing experience, and to see my child's development and growth has been so rewarding. So number 5 is enjoy the little rewards. There will definitely be challenges, and you need to remind yourself, as I had to remind myself, is you're not trying to reinvent school at home. You're trying to create a curriculum and a structure and an environment for your child to thrive. That is the most important element. There are going to be days that you feel like you barely get any work done, and there will be days where you feel like you have just conquered the whole academic world. So make sure that you are not comparing yourself to what your child would have gotten had they been in school. You want to make sure that you're comparing what your child learned yesterday to what your child is accomplishing today. And some concepts may take longer than others, and some may not. I can tell you just personally, having a daughter that has dyslexia, when we first started working on her phonetical skills and her reading skills, in the very beginning, you didn't see much progress. It was just very typical of children to have dyslexia. And then it was like overnight, all of a sudden, she went from being able to understand 3 words in a sentence to be able to understand 9 out of 10 words in a sentence. That's huge. So celebrate that, feel accomplished. The other thing is positive reinforcement. Remember to give your child positive reinforcement as much as possible, so they feel like they are, even when they're not overcoming a challenge, that they still are being encouraged to keep going. And then give yourself some positive reinforcement, because you got this. And don't forget, you're doing this for the love of your child, and you're doing this because you're trying to fulfill a need that you feel your child had. So you got this. Don't worry about it. You have a tribe of women that are here to cheer you on. And if you ever need some extra encouragement, support, reach out to other homeschooling moms. There are plenty of moms that would be happy to talk to you, be there for you, and keep encouraging you and your child or children. Thanks guys for listening, taking the time to take a peek into our inside homeschooling world. And I wish you all the best of luck. And remember, you got this.